Hey everyone, Jody from Bird Dog Off-Road Adventures. Today we're going to show you how we use our Top Lift Pro that we got off Marketplace to take off the back piece of our Anderson Composites hardtop. Stay tuned. Alright, well, first thing you're going to have to do is take off all these little attachments here for the factory hardtop, as well as take off, in our case, take off our JCR connections up here at the top as well. We'll snake this thing in here and we'll get it going. Something else to note for our situation, and this may not be particular to everybody's situation, is this shelf here. This is the JCR shelf and it barely works with this thing. And this is one of the more narrow ones. So if you have a larger shelf, you probably can't use this. Also too, we had to remove our ice cold fridge out of the way before we could use it as well. Now you could easily put the ice cold fridge right back in it, you know, if once you got the top off. But as far as putting it on and off, you have to remove the ice cold fridge. And I'm assuming most other fridges as well, because you have to have that space. With the Raptor brace, no problem. We just got to get up there. We'll show you our little technique here in a minute. But just want to kind of point those things out to you. Something you all should know before you go buy one of these. We got ours really good deal on Marketplace for like 700 bucks from a lady who had a Jeep that sold her Jeep and didn't need it no more. So if you look out there, you can get these at a pretty good deal. Ours is already pre-assembled, so we can't show you that part. But there's many videos out there on that, so we'll give you some links for those as well. We're going to shimmy this thing in here. And like I said before, our case is a little bit different because we have the shelf and we have the Raptor brace. But like I said before too, you have to be very careful here. You don't want to scratch up your stuff, obviously, but you're going to hit that. So once you get in a position, you want to basically hold this handle in and use your arm or your body weight. All right, so get it up here. We're going to pull this back just a hair bit because of our situation. Let it back down. Let's get in a little bit more. There we go. All right, and you just want to lean it up. You want to make sure you get this thing high enough to clear the tailgate, and boom, you're done. That is pretty much it, folks. Like I said, these little pieces right here do tend to rub against this thing. There's not really much I can do about that other than taking the shelf out, which this is not practical to do that every time I want to take this off. Now, we're the late part of summer here in the Phoenix area, so well, I shouldn't say late part. We're in the late part of spring, early part of summer, so we probably won't be taking this off and on much longer because it just gets too hot here to go without a roof. It's almost so we'll just back this thing on out and we're good. And this thing wheels easily. Now, once you get it out past the tailgate, you can lower it back down, which makes it even easier to maneuver. All right, so we got it out. We're bringing it past the tailgate. Once we're past the tailgate, we're just going to put our arm on this bar here, squeeze this brake trigger, lower it back down a little bit, so that way we don't have to worry about hitting it on anything. And boom, we're there. All right, so we're going to wheel this thing back in the garage and put it up, and then we get ready to put it back on. We'll show you that too. We'll wheel it back out here, throw it on. Pretty quick and easy, guys. This is, like I said, if you're going to take your top off on these hard tops that often at all, whether it's an Anderson Composites tarp or the stock one, I don't know if this thing, I'm assuming this thing would work on the turn-off road one too, but I don't have one, so I don't know that. Armadillo, you wouldn't be able to use it. And I don't know about the rally top either. So you might talk to some people that either had those or talk to the manufacturers. They could probably tell you whether or not this thing's compatible with them. I don't even know if Andersons would recommend using this, but there's no reason why you can't. This hardtop is not as heavy, I think, as the Mick anyway. And if it is, it's not by much. So anyway, we're going to wheel this thing in, take this thing out, and play a little bit, and throw it back on. We'll show you and throw it back on. One advantage of having this is that it was made it easier for our to put our JCR thing on latches. So that helped out a lot instead of having to have somebody come over and help you. So as you can see here from the inside, you know, it's pretty far back up against that. I don't use the extenders. I think if you had the turn-off road or the rally top, if you were to use this with them, you'd have to put the extensions, and they slide in these little holes here, and they basically just go out and help support the top. But with the factory Mick rear and the Anderson Composites rear, I don't think you need to do that because you don't have enough weight hanging forward to need it.
All right, boys and girls, you got to admit these things look pretty badass with their top off, so this is definitely a purchase I know I'll appreciate for years to come.
Something to be mindful of is these little nubs. I don't know if you can see that. You have two on each side. Right here's the other one. So you're trying to aim it to where they fit in these little holes right here. So that's where you're trying to go, and you're trying to get both sides at once. So that's where it can be a little complicated. But I just wanted to kind of point that out to you because you can see the ones over here. There's that one, and there's that one way up there. But that's the nubs, and the factory hardtops have the same. So we got this thing started in. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of grab a hold of this bar, try to guide it. You see, I got my antenna there. I got to be careful about that. The main thing I try to do is I try to get these two pins in the back on each side lined up as best as I can. And then something that I do that you may not do if you don't have the shelf is that you may have to let it down, pick it back up, and then push it forward a little bit. So that's why I have to do sometimes because of the shelf. If you don't have to shelf, you shouldn't have to do that, even with a Raptor brace. All right, so to lower this down, it's highly recommended that you put your elbow and your body weight over it before you grab this brake clamp. And the reason you do that is you want to make sure this thing doesn't slam down. So as you're lowering it, you have to kind of see where your holes are at. All right, so looks like we got the two back ones in. What I do have to do sometimes, I have to bring this back just a little bit. And just kind of shift there we go. See, it's just because those JCR clamps, if you had the factory little lever, and it might be because I've got them so tight, which you won't. I think ideally those JCR clamps are mainly if you have a roof rack. So most of you guys probably won't have that issue. I like to do it because I think it makes the roof sturdier and gives it more support. As you can see, that's it. You know, just crank this thing back down a little bit, pull it back out, put your Walkworks tabs back in, and after that, you're good. And that's it, you're done. That's as easy as it gets. I don't know how you can make it any easier. So would I recommend this? Hell yeah. Only exceptions would be is if your shelf, if you have a shelf back here that comes back farther, you know, other thing, like I said before, you know, I had to take the refrigerator out. So it's not in here because it's up to about right here. So it gets in the way. I mean, it's not that hard to take it in and out. And let's be honest, if you're out on the trails overlanding, you're probably not going to want to take this thing off anyway. Like I said, I got this off Marketplace for a pretty good deal. I think it's $700. Or, no, yeah, it's $500 I paid for it. Whereas I think you can get them brand new for like $900-ish or something like that. But this thing's very good quality. I would highly recommend. This is not the newest version. There is a version newer than this. I don't know what differences there are, but they're very subtle. So either version should work. I know for a fact they advertise it for both, and they advertise it for the Raptor. So if you have this brace, you're good. And like I said, just be mindful of the shelves if you have a shelf, and the cooler if you have a cooler. Other than that, you're good to go. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please consider that like and subscribe button. As always, we got more stuff to come, and we like to let you guys know how we do. Like I said, I paid for this. This is not a sponsored video. So, all right, guys, stay tuned.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe button for us. Help us grow a little bit in this channel, in this YouTube world. We got plenty more stuff to come down the road, so we'll hope you stick around for that. If you hit that alert button, you'll get notified anytime we have something new come on. As always, you know, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon.